Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, it all makes sense now, doesn't it? By more than 2-to-1, Americans support US government banning TikTok. The American people want to see the app gone. I'd assume military experts, tech experts, national security experts probably mostly view the app as a threat, possibly a backdoor for the Chinese government to collect data and weaponize their algorithm against the American population, but for some reason it's just impossible to get Democrats on board. They seem to have some sort of love affair with the app, and I know exactly what it is. In fact, it's the same thing the Chinese are doing. They've initiated a massive TikTok propaganda campaign to target young voters and future voters with misinformation and propaganda, and two of the newest DNC paid shills have actually just been identified and outed. Let me update you guys on what everyone's talking about on Twitter. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so you've probably seen these two characters recently. They've been all over my feed, seemingly popped out of nowhere. These two individuals.
What the Republican Party doesn't understand about Gen Z is we don't like you.
You claim you want to appeal to Gen Z, but you call us stupid, you say we're dumb, you say we're indoctrinated. I promise it's a losing strategy.
And Gen Z is watching the Republican Party extremely closely as they destroy our environment, take rights away from women, do nothing about kids being shot in schools, and if they think they can give the middle finger to our generation and get away with it, they're sorely mistaken. I genuinely do not care what the Republican Party says about Gen Z. They call us weak, they call us lazy, they call us ineffective, and it's like, do you really think that's gonna stop us? Their insults don't faze my generation. Gen Z is focused on change, Republicans are focused on trolling, and that's the difference. My generation has beaten the Republican Party in 2020, 2022, and 2023, and we're gonna do it again in 2024, whether they like it or not. The Gen Z wave is here, and it's only getting bigger, and that should terrify the Republican Party.
I'm riding with Biden in 2024. Inflation Reduction Act, American Rescue Plan, CHIPS Act, lowest unemployment in 54 years, gun reform, largest investment on climate in history, largest investment on mental health in history, huge investments in infrastructure. This guy has been phenomenal, and as it stands right now, he is the choice for president in 2024.
The typical 30 seconds to a minute video short, very obviously targeting young children with little to no attention span. The high energy Mr. Beast, Fortnite, Minecraft, whatever, YouTuber, yelling into the microphone, overly energetic, making no real argument. Everything's just a total appeal to emotion. No facts, no statistics, no actual policy proposals, just Gen Z Democrat, Republican bad. Not to torture you with the cringe, but actually, here's another one that went pretty viral just the other day.
This is a message to all the Republicans funded by the NRA, and this was inspired by a fantastic paper written by Chloe. Let me tell you something. Gen Z has sat by and idly watched as our friends and our family members are killed in schools and a gun epidemic has overtaken this country. We have sat by and we have idly watched over and over and over again as you value NRA money and the right to a gun over our lives. But this is what you do not understand. We are no longer watching. We are now voting. We are now in the streets, and I would be scared. Your time has come, and 2024 will be ugly. We are over this. Martin was a 14-year-old boy at Stoneman Douglas High School. He wanted to grow up and be in the Navy. He got shot and killed. You took away his right to be safe in school and grow up with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I promise you, you should be scared for 2024 because we are coming. We are coming.
A Twitter user by the name of Jimmy actually did an edit, which I think distilled the video to its core essence quite well. Not much difference between the overly emotional rambling and the manic inhaling, as Jimmy described it. Between the two clips, I mean, it's basically the same thing. But anyways, these videos have gone absolutely insane all over TikTok, garnering millions upon millions of views, and I find it quite interesting how they seem to be going so viral on only one social media platform, that being TikTok. We'll get into that later. But anyways, supposedly these guys are massively successful, putting out some real compelling political arguments as to why Joe Biden is supposedly the greatest president of all time, doing things like passing bills that are going to add $17 trillion to the national debt, the greatest, most historic president of all time. Most people had a suspicion, but most people with their heads screwed on straight came to a common conclusion that this Chris Mowry individual and this Harry Sisson individual aren't just organic political commentators that popped out of nowhere. They're most likely the next generation of Brooklyn dad defiant, most likely paid DNC shills. People have accused them many times of exactly that, to which the general response from these individuals has been something along these lines. I made my Twitter in 2014 as a kid, sent my first tweet about politics a few months ago. I am not owned by any administration. I do not work for the DNC and all my tweets are my own. When your first thought is paid shill, it's clear that you can't stand on your own arguments. My initial response is that it's kind of hard to bring an argument to a discussion with these types of individuals because they don't seem to really engage in arguments at all, just unhinged ramblings. GOP villains, Democrats good. But they claim that they're not paid shills. That's yet again another right-wing conspiracy theory. Is it now? Look what the internet found just the other day. Harry J. Sisson. His email, Harry@Paulette Management. Chris Mowry at Paulette Management. They're both content creators working under a company called Paulette Management Inc. or Paulette Media Inc. Internet sleuths dug in a little bit deeper and found some pretty interesting transactions. Recipient information. Paulette Media Inc. received a $200,000 payment from none other than, drumroll please, Democratic National Committee Services Corp / Democratic National Committee. Oh, and would you look at that? A little bit later, another $10,000 payment. Definitely not a paid shill, huh? The leftoid fact checkers are typing furiously at the keyboard. Try again, rightoid chud. Here comes the fact check. Ed Krasenstein on Twitter, who's probably another paid DNC shill. Fact: Harry Sisson is not paid by the DNC. He is employed by a company that was contracted by the DNC for media work in 2022. Fact: Harry Sisson asked the White House for press briefing passes and received them because he is deemed part of the media. Holy moly, you can't make this stuff up. Harry Sisson isn't paid by the DNC, doesn't work for the DNC. He simply works for a company that's paid and works for the DNC, collecting money from the DNC for media work in the year 2022, which just happens to be the time that these two individuals all of a sudden decided that they were gonna dip their toes into politics, promoting the message of Joe Biden is the most progressive and incredible historic president for young people since the creation of man. They've been caught, and it's probably time they sit down and take an L on this one. Of course, they probably won't. They're probably gonna deny that they're paid shills as they continue to shill for the political party that's destroying the middle class and getting young votes by literally scamming them. But moving away from these two individuals, because honestly I don't really think that they deserve too much attention, I want to focus a little bit on this DNC TikTok strategy. We could sit here and point the finger and say, look what the DNC is doing, paying TikTok stars to indoctrinate the next generation of voters. We could point it out, have a million different opinions, whatever it is. But the question that I'm asking myself is, what is the GOP doing? If anything, for me, this is a sign as to why the GOP is going to lose. The Democrat Party's making moves to ensure that the next generation of voters are on their side, and the GOP is doing nothing. It boils down to what I always say: the Democrats are playing the game and Republicans are sitting on the sidelines, expecting things to just magically work in their favor. Not exactly a winning strategy, especially considering Democrats changed the voting system and made it easier than ever for people who aren't necessarily politically active to participate in democracy. Democrats continue to make moves behind the scenes outside of campaigning, outside of actually, really winning in politics. Democrats continue to make moves behind the scenes, putting them in a position where they could be losing on every single issue. Their candidate could be a literal vegetable locked in the cellar, and they can still manage to win. I think, if anything, this ought to be a serious wake-up call that the GOP needs to up their game. There's a reason why Democrats have formed an alliance with teachers unions. They want to control public school curriculums, and there's a reason why they're putting such heavy emphasis on TikTok, an app that's primarily used by underage Americans. Anyways, you guys get it, not much else to be said. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.